Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Mike. He is Byron, and we are the Squared Circle Jerks.
Nope. Well, yes, we are.
And we are here to talk about some WWE.
The Wobbly Wobbly Bee.
This is the week of basically September 25th's Raw and onwards for the week. And you did not watch Raw or SmackDown, is that correct?
No, that is correct. I saw 0 Point. Mr. Oliver Davidtron was very, very down on the shows. And if he's down on the shows, you know it was bad because, dear Lord, he usually sees the bright side of most things.
Honestly, neither show was really that bad. It was not good, but not disastrously bad. We'll leave it at that. Well, I'll go through some of the brief highlights because there are some good things that need to be talked about. And just some things in general. So I will lead us through SmackDown and Raw, and then Byron will lead us through NXT and 205 Live, because he presumably watched them.
I did. Possibly, I might have.
So let's see here. Talking about Raw and what actually needs to be talked about. The Roman Reigns Miz TV segment just confirmed everything I've ever said about Roman Reigns' promo ability. When he just handles like a one-liner, and it's, in the script it just says, be badass. He's very good at it. He got a massive pop for, why don't one of you guys give back and get me a beverage, preferably a beer. And then Miz freaking out about, we don't drink beer on Miz TV. But when he's required to do something more scripted, something longer, it falls the fucking apart. And at some point, you would think that Vince McMahon and co. would realize that the man doesn't have to cut a long promo. He just really doesn't. Like, just a couple of badass phrases and you're good to go. It's not like they haven't had success with people exactly like that before. Then let's see here. Is there anything else that was worth talking about? Not really at all, to be honest. Well, the end of the show, of course. So Enzo's been talking about this whole time. He wants to do a certified G celebration for his title win. And he gets Kurt Angle to give him a no contact clause with the cruiserweights. Which, honestly, Kurt Angle selling being annoyed with Enzo Amore very well. I actually enjoyed that. So, if there's anything to go back and watch, the Enzo and Kurt Angle interaction is probably the answer.
There you go. And by the way, you don't need to watch Raw because all you have to do is tune into 205 Live and you get to see all the things that were important that happened on Raw.
Well, you don't get to see the Kurt Angle Enzo stuff in detail. No, there's some missing things.
Enough.
But yes, you could more or less get this from 205 Live. Oh, the Mickie James Alexa Bliss stuff was actually pretty fun. Pretty decent promo off between the two of them. The only problem is the fact that Mickie James is the most unbuilt-up contender I think we've seen in a long time.
Oh yeah,
maybe outside of Jinder Mahal.
Every time she's gone up against anybody who could be a challenger, they buried her, and so she's the guy. She's the person you go to make challengers, and she's not one, so she's not a challenger. So there's no.
And she actually could. I mean, I'm a massive Mickie James fan, but her booking up into this point to get a title shot is actually worse than Jinder Mahal's.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Jinder Mahal at least had to win like a multi-man match thing to set it up. Like, I can't recall the last time Mickie James won.
No, exactly. They should have just put the title on her right away, and she should still be holding that title. And eventually, you get to see her versus Asuka again for the title. Uh-huh. That's what this should be. And they've basically, well, I mean, we've been over this time and time again, but there is no women's division. They might as well not have one.
Pretty much, honestly, there's not enough to split it off into two brands. I think is what it comes down to. Like, there's legitimately not really enough bodies, and it's also not helped by the fact that both brands have been doing these multi-women feuds. To be clear, I don't have a problem with a multi-woman feud. I think it can work. I think it can be done well, but SmackDown has beaten their well, it's not even that. It's that SmackDown has been doing it for so long that they have beaten anything special out of the division. And Raw has been doing it for quite some time, that the same thing is basically happening, and there's no one being built in the meantime. Like, case in point with this, you've done the whole Nia Jax, Emma, Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, Bayley match, and it's like, all right, now where do we go from here? Well, we've got Mickie James, we've got Dana Brooke. I don't think anyone remembers when either of those girls got a win recently. So
no, and they were kind of vaguely a team for a while, which was really good. Like, I enjoyed every time they came down to the ring. But
and Alicia Fox, I guess, is another option.
Fox, she doesn't wrestle.
She does wrestle, not well, but I mean, I'm just saying she's there. She's a body.
I mean, if you're gonna throw Alicia Fox in the ring, you might as well throw Stephanie McMahon in the ring too. I mean, they wrestle.
Actually, honestly, Stephanie McMahon is actually probably a safer worker.
Probably.
Because Alicia Fox tries to be this like super athletic wrestler, and it's like you do have the required athleticism for this, but you don't have any idea how to do this safely.
No, the timing is all wrong. The execution's usually wrong. Northern Lights. It's like she's worked on her Northern Light suplex her entire life and not paid attention to anything else.
Yeah, it's kind of painful in that regard. So, yeah, the basic problem with that is that it's the most obvious placeholder feud of all time. Like, you can't put the belt on Mickie. Mind you, I said that about Jinder Mahal, so... what WWE...
It's not worked out that way either.
Yeah. What WWE can do and should do are very different things. So, hell, who knows? Maybe she'll get a title run, but, it's just a blatantly placeholder feud to buy some time to build up Asuka a little bit and have her enter the main event scene. But Certified G celebration. Enzo gets beat up by Neville, beat up by Braun Strowman, and then beat up by the division. And they were chanting "You deserved it," which was great, and which he repurposed for his own purposes, which is nice.
Indeed.
And his promo was pretty good. I enjoyed most of his cutting on the 205ers. The only exception with Neville is that with Neville, he really needs to stop going to the Gollum Keebler Elf stuff because it's lost any freshness it had.
He's got a big nose and big ears.
No, it's blatantly true and definitely should have gone to that well once. But the fact that almost everyone who's feuded with Neville goes to that same well has really made it's a fucking shallow well. We need something new.
Yeah, I can dig that. I do enjoy. I mean, everybody enjoys everything Enzo does. So I mean, he can pretty much go to that well for a little while longer. But then, he needs to. He had one thing
on 205 Live that bugged me, but we'll get to that later.
How much later?
Not that much later, because I have very little to say about SmackDown.
Well, what about that SmackDown?
All right, so SmackDown. I enjoy basically two things on this show. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Great stuff, both promo-wise and action-wise. If you've not seen it, go check that out. That's good stuff. Which shouldn't be surprising. It's freaking El Generico and Kevin Steen. So, victory. The only thing I will say about Zayn and Owens on the negative is that you remember back at Battlegrounds 2016, I do believe it was, last match ever between the two, and then they were doing the brand split. They put them on the same freaking brand and then brought them both to SmackDown.
Yep.
Ugh. So stupid.
Yeah, but they haven't had an actual match against each other in a while.
Yeah, but they've been in there with multi-man matches, tag matches. It's like...
Well, yeah, they only have so many wrestlers on the fucking roster.
No, I know, but that's why you put one on Raw and you put one on SmackDown.
I mean wrestlers. I don't mean performers. They don't have many guys on that roster that can really, really wrestle.
I'm just saying you put one on one brand, one on the other, and then somewhere down the road, they get back together. Not like they get back together as a feud, or they get back together as a tag team. I'm actually fine either way that goes. And it's a big freaking deal.
Yeah.
So, WWE, you wrote yourself a lovely storyline and then boned it up. I also enjoyed the Bulgarian celebration. It was pretty good. It was Rusev celebrating Rusev Day in Bulgaria. And basically he ends up getting RKO'd by Randy Orton. It was a well-done segment. I still don't like the feud because it won't really elevate Rusev, and I don't need Orton elevated. Like, they're feeding Rusev to Orton. It feels like that seems silly because they're just continuing to punish Rusev for getting married to Lana.
Super hot, totally worth it.
Yeah, now Google yourself some pictures of Lana and just realize how stupid that reasoning is. So that was the good stuff. Other than that, the Usos will be facing New Day in Hell in the Cell. Like, in Hell in the Cell. I believe this is the first ever tag team match in Hell in the Cell. So that could be interesting. Hype Bros continue to slide. Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode will be facing each other at Hell in a Cell, as well as a U.S. title match with Baron Corbin getting a title shot. And Nakamura finally got some payback on Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers and got to beat them up and stand tall.
So that sounds nice.
So it was not a terrible show. Nothing made me mad. But for 2 hours of material, honestly, you can just watch the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens stuff, plus Shane McMahon, and you can watch the Bulgaria Day celebration. That's pretty much about it.
Bulgaria Day.
So, take us into 205 Live, sir.
I'm sorry, I'm totally distracted. You said to Google pictures of Lana, and I did that, and now you're gonna have to carry the rest of the show.
You can pull yourself away from that. They will be there. They will be there after the show.
I don't know. That one's a pretty good picture. Anyway, 205 Live. You're gonna have to kind of what the fuck? I get some kids in my driveway hauling snow shovels around.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. Oh, it looks like they're cleaning up leaves.
Okay. So it opened up with Enzo Amore doing, more of what he did to close Raw, basically.
Oh, yeah, that reminds me. Enzo Amore, he's pretty good at what he does. I mean, his whole delivery, he basically took over this whole show, which I'm not sure are, like, obviously it's all intentional, but I don't know, if they really anticipated how over he was, that he would actually take over the whole show. Not that they're just putting him in a lot of segments, but that people just want to see him. So, I mean, he did a great job of basically just getting himself over. He did an awesome character arc over the episode, where he came out and people were like, "Yeah, it's Enzo," and he kind of like he was a little salty. He was a little bit of a hater, and said some stuff. And then some people came out and some stuff happened. But his delivery was great. He's got little tiny mannerisms where he just kind of like he's having a conversation. He's a real person having a real conversation with you, not saying things to the audience all the time. It really does feel like he's talking to you, the viewer. And it's not a scripted thing. He's not reciting all these lines. He can, he'll drop a word here, bring a word up there, use words that are not WWE script material, things like that. And he just occupied the whole thing. And it was fantastic. And I loved it. And I loved more of it.
The only thing I didn't like about it was when he was going on about the I have never called in sick thing.
Yeah.
Because he was out for like a while with a concussion not that long ago. So
yeah, you have to be.
I'm aware of that, but like he's basically like it's kind of a I work injured, I don't I get back up. It's like you did miss time. So
yeah, but you have to. It's not. No,
I'm aware of this, but every other person who has quotation marks called in sick had to, for the most part. John Cena notwithstanding, but any time that Roman Reigns is missed, Braun Strowman is missed, Bray Wyatt is missed.
Well, there was one period last year where Roman Reigns called in high.
That's true. Okay, Roman Reigns. Okay, I removed Roman Reigns from the list, but Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, etc. All of these other people who, when they have taken time off, it's because they had to. So it's not any different.
Well, I mean, I don't remember if we're gonna get into pedantic semantics. I mean, he didn't point anybody out in particular, so it could be about anybody, or it could be about nobody. It could just be.
Oh, I assume it's about no one. I mean, it's about Enzo. It's trying to make Enzo look. Well, it goes back to the whole Enzo tough guy character, too. Basically, I get knocked down, I get back up, sort of deal.
Don't start singing that song. I'll fucking karate chop you.
I will not sing that song. I assure you.
Excellent.
But yeah, otherwise, I love everything else here.
Yes.
I'm kind of intrigued to see where they take the whole the fact that there will be no title matches because everyone's violated the no contact clause.
I love that. I do enjoy. I'm genuinely interested to see where they go from there. Like, do they just kind of drop it WWE style? Do they play the trump card where it's like, well, you know, you got that clause from Kurt Angle, but he doesn't manage 205 Live, so go fuck yourself. I'm having a title shot, you dumb bastard. Or do they? I would
like to see it be a new guy come in because he's not violated that contract. Because you do have a couple of guys in NXT who can do the 205 stuff, and you do have some rumored talent that might be signing in the near future. Most notably Ricochet, which we'll talk about on the New Japan thing more because, you know, we're not really a fan of the idea of him signing, but if he is going to sign, that would be a thing.
Yeah. I don't think they would not stick him on 205 Live. Well, Vince, now I say
they would.
I'm like, Vince is fucked up so hard his entire life. There's for sure they'll stick him on 205 Live. And they'll probably make him into a mat-based wrestler as well. We had a little promo backstage. I think I'm missing. Was there a match in there somewhere?
There was Akira Tozawa versus Tony Nese with Drew Gulak on commentary.
Oh yeah, Gulak again, actually a regular human being who just happens to have an agenda. Not a scripted wrestler who has come down to argue with the heel or face commentator. He's a guy who is there and has an agenda, and that's it. And he said, like, he did do. Oh yeah, Saxton and not Graves were on commentary.
Joseph.
Yeah, not Graves. Graves light. Graves with 2 creams.
I'd say he's actually more Tom Phillips like, to be honest.
Kinda, but he looks like if Corey Graves
physically
had like an interesting life, that's what Vic Joseph is. And it was, I gotta say, the commentary team I found excellent. It was refreshing. There was 2 guys on commentary, and they're just watching matches and telling you how it's going. There's some stuff, like Vic Joseph needs work. He doesn't need to literally call every move and let the wrestlers do the wrestling. You don't need to verbally wrestle for them. But other than that, I mean, it was really refreshing to have 2 guys just commentating. They're just there.
It's because you had 2 guys who are not. There was no nominally heel commentator. Like Saxton's a face. Joseph is a face. They're not annoyingly face, which is nice. Like Saxton was agreeing with Gulak on some things, but disagreeing with him on other things. I think it was a good combo.
And I enjoyed the fact that initially your boy Andrew Garlick just snubbed Saxton and did his thing for a bit, but then he said, "Oh, hello, Byron, how's it going?" And just then they were sort of all on the same page. I liked the match. The match was really good. Tony Nese is coming along a long way. He's really getting into the muscle character. The bicycle sit-up kicks are very excellent now. And Tozawa's awesome. Tozawa might be the 5th best wrestler on the roster, like the entire roster.
Top 10 for sure.
Yeah, top 10 for sure. I would probably put him top 5. You got Zayn, Owens, Nakamura,
Styles,
AJ Styles, and him.
There's an argument for some other people, I would think.
Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, he's right up in there, and yeah. So the match was well put together. Tony still needs some work, but he's coming along leaps and bounds. And not actually sticking to a whole WWE plod move thing, which is good. And then we had a little confrontational action between Tozawa and Andrew Garlick. What I also love is the reverse psychology. The blatant reverse psychology of the no chance thing is getting over so huge. Fantastic. You stupid marks. No chance! Fuck you, heel! I'll chant!
Drew Gulak is pretty much the best thing about 205 Live right now, except for Enzo. Yeah. You know, he's getting the fans to actually get into stuff and to spite them, which is what a freaking good heel does.
Exactly. Stupid heel, I do what I want. I'm like, no, you do what he wants. You're just not picking up on it. I love that. It was excellent. It was a good senton as per usual, And that thing looks like it should murder people, and everybody seems to walk away okay. So, I mean, total props there. And then we had a backstage promo there with your boy Enzo. Your boy Enzo and your boy Daivari. And Daivari blatantly sucking up, and Enzo blatantly not buying it. But willing, but a little bit, kind of, he's, a little bit, not, but he says straight up, don't, what was it, bro, do I look like a piece of bread, or something like that?
Do I look like a piece of bread? Stop buttering me up.
Yeah, so, that was awesome, and you could tell that neither one of them really bought what either one of them was selling, and then he agreed to corner, Daivari for his match against Neville, and then came down and cut another promo. There was not another match, was there? It was just...
There was, it wasn't a match, it was a segment.
Yeah, there was another promo with Gentleman Jack the fucking Ripper.
No, you're missing something else.
What else am I missing?
We were supposed to have TJP versus Lince Dorado.
Oh, yeah!
And instead of Dorado, we got Rich Swann out-sprinting Dorado to the ring to beat up on TJP. And then TJP
that was awesome.
Backed up.
That was a great spot. I was like, hey, it's Lince. We're going to have Lince. Oh, shit. Here comes the Black Flash. Phew! Get out there and get you some. So it looks like that's going to continue. And then I believe we had Gentleman Jack the Ripper versus Captain Shook. And Gentleman Jack the Ripper is awesome. But everything Jack does is awesome. So... Jesus Christ, man. This guy, is there anything he can't do? How old is he? Like, 22?
I think he's older than that. I'll look that up while you talk.
Alright, anyway. Jack just, he's cold, he's menacing, he makes sure he gets his taped fists up in the camera a couple of times. Los Brian Kendrick, or El Brian Kendrick, I'm sorry, my Spanish is horrible. Actually manages to not fuck things up and not push himself too hard. That seems to be his downfall.
Well, I think Kendrick, for a change, is being asked kind of to put someone else over, and I think it suits him at this point in his career.
Yeah, I would say so. And, but yeah, it's like the axis of evil over here. I'm kind of interested to see if they pick up another member. Mm-hmm. So that would be fantastic. And
27 years old is the answer 27. To the previous question.
I thought he was younger. I think it's just he's got one of those baby faces. But he's cold. He's menacing. He's deliberate. He's not, and it doesn't sound scripted. This is just his thoughts, and he's being methodical, and he's laying them out for you, and you have to accept that, and that's how that goes. It's not, I am reading off of a teleprompter. Rhyme Ron Burgundy.
I do want to point out one thing about the commentary. This is all the way back at the Tozawa match. Mm-hmm. Brian Saxon talks about how the variety of 205 Live is, the key to why it's so popular. WWE, I need you to listen to your own fucking commentary.
Correct.
Because there is very little variety in a lot of these matches.
Also correct.
Then we had the main event of Neville versus Daivari with Enzo in Daivari's corner.
Yeah, it was alright. It was very brief. I really wasn't expecting a whole lot. I actually expected either a lot of interference and shenanigans or a giant beatdown from a pissed off raging troll monster guy. Neither one of those things really happened, and the match itself was passable, although everybody could really tell it's just a setup for something else. And then eventually, your boy Enzo got involved again and ended up beating the absolute living dick shit out of Buddy Boy McBuddy Boy with his crutch and going full blown heel.
Yep, some good ground and pound in there as well.
I enjoyed that.
I did have a thought while I was watching this because Enzo's kind of waving the belt around, taunting Neville for a bit. Mm-hmm. I would pay money to see Enzo go full Naito on the belt.
That would be fantastic.
I don't care about the belt. I can't respect this belt.
Yeah, I would be very much in favor of that. And then finally, at some point, around WrestleMania, he gets his comeuppance because I would keep the belt on him for a long while, just to rile up. Because I want to see the division. It's not so much about him. I want to see the division itself get more notoriety. And he's going to help that a lot, and it's not going to help him to look weak. On top of that, everybody else in the division can look just furious or frantic or whatever, but they're going to be more agitated than they were. They're not just going to come out and do matches. It's going to be a, fuck, we got to get after this guy. We got, like, this asshole's got our belt. That's what I want. I
agree literally with everything that was said there. My only concern is from a long-term standpoint. Like, I'm talking a real long-term standpoint. We're talking, years down the road. Mm-hmm. That your way of getting attention to this division has been the Enzo Amore route, but that's not sustainable long-term, because then at some point you got to take the belt off of Enzo, let the division stand on its own without Enzo. And the problem is that to get things really interesting, you need some decent matches, I think, because the only way to... The thing is, people can look at successful junior heavyweight or cruiserweight stuff, say New Japan, WCW, versus unsuccessful stuff like basically every time WWF has tried to do it. Yeah, you need match quality, because people, and you see this in the fight game, because, for example, people get excited regardless of who's fighting for the UFC heavyweight title or the boxing heavyweight title. Like, they're interested, despite the fact that the fight will suck. Like, it's the worst division to watch in kickboxing, MMA, and boxing, yet it is the one that will do pay-per-view numbers. And it's because we're obsessed with the big guy. So when you're trying to develop a smaller, by default, division, you need to put something together that really delivers what the big guys can't. And that is match quality. And the problem is that if you can't figure out how to transition to a post Enzo era, this doesn't really do a lot of good.
But this is, I'm going to just lay out some fantasy booking more for you here, and you can try and book around that. We'll go with what I'm saying. Like, I want him to hold it a long time. I want him to hold it until, like, WrestleMania. And he's the kid kicking the anthill. And all the ants are just fucking pissed and just scurrying everywhere. And you gotta get wins, because you gotta get towards the title. And this is how they have to book it. Wins have to matter.
Absolutely.
You have to get wins, because you gotta get to the title, because you have to take it off Enzo. This asshole has got our belt. He's holding the whole division hostage. This fucking dick. Because he's gone heel at this point. And, I mean, people will still cheer him, but he's gone heel, and if he's any good, he's going to stay heel. Way more heel than Neville. Because Neville has to be... I mean, it doesn't have to be Neville who gets the belt in the end. It could be TJP. It could be, there's a bunch of guys it could be. But anyway, that's not part of the... I'd have it
be Cedric, because Enzo's been cutting more promos on Cedric Alexander than anyone else, so it kind of just leads to that being the natural option.
So we'll just go with Cedric as a placeholder for now. But anyway, we go through the Survivor Series and Royal Rumble, and we get, finally we get a clear-cut challenger at the Rumble, and we've got, some months to build this up, and then you got, your big knight in shining armor finally gets, what I want them to avoid is one of these stupid matches where you have to beat the champ in order to beat the champ. I don't want one of these, if you beat me in a match, then you can challenge for the title. Like, fuck you. If I beat you in a match, the title is mine. That's how that works. And so, we get to WrestleMania, you get your big payoff, your babyface gets the win, and then Enzo disappears for, like, a month. And then he comes back with Big Cass as like Diesel and Shawn Michaels, and he fucking yanks that title right back. And then you've got some more, you can go through everybody trying to get that title again, and then you can do something else after that. But I don't know why I'm kind of taken with the idea of just a big guy dominating the, not for a long time, but didn't Kevin Nash at one point hold the X Division title, or
I think you're thinking about when Abyss held the X Division title.
Okay, I knew that some big guy had held the X Division title.
Well,
and
Joe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but Joe's... You can kind of make an exception for Joe, but if you put like a big monster-y type guy in there, then it's hilarious. So I kind of want... I sort of want something of that nature. And, I mean, then you've got top heel guys instead of top face guys, and then eventually you can transition them back to face again, or whatever. But I want some sort of agitation of the division, just like they've got going on now, but I want it over a longer period of time, and I want the division to get more attention because of all the frantic action.
And I'm 100% behind all of that. The problem comes down to WWE philosophy here, is that for the division to get over on a long-term basis, you need to take the freaking handcuffs off. You need to New Japan it up, basically.
Yep.
Don't go all the way, but you need variety, you need action, you need quality matches. You need to let the hardcores have their fun, and you know what? When the hardcores are having their fun, the casuals tend to follow eventually. So that's just my thing. This is a Band-Aid on a larger problem if you're not willing to actually treat the wound.
Correct.
So then we go on to NXT.
Baby.
All right. So lead us off here.
I don't know how.
William Regal announces that there will be a fatal 4-way for the women's title. Kairi Sane will be in it, and there will be 3 other women. I'm assuming either Ruby Riott or Nikki Cross will be one, because I'm assuming they're going to end up feuding for a spot in that.
I would have to assume. They will probably put Ember Moon in there because they have to.
Mm-hmm. And that I can't really think of many better options, to be frank.
No. I mean, they may just ditch Ruby Riott or Nikki Cross and put in Shayna Baszler, who is, I guess, finally signed a contract.
Well, I'd have Baszler as the 4th chick.
Yeah.
So I'd have it be Baszler, Moon. I would go with Ruby Riott to give a second hard face, unless Sanity continues like a more face projection. Then I'd go with Nikki Cross. I am more pro Nikki Cross than Ruby Riott, but just from a booking sense, Riott would make more sense right now as the 4th girl. And of course, Kairi Sane.
Yeah, I'm in favor of both of those, Nikki Cross and Ruby Riott. It's just that they have to put somebody in the ring with Ruby Riott who can fucking wrestle. I mean, apparently we gotta watch the Gruesome Twosome next week, which, spoiler alert, will suck! Yeah.
It might not, because I think that I think what you're going to have is a tension team, basically. It's going to wind up being Riott versus Cross instead of a tag match, in a nutshell.
Yeah, but it's going to... I don't know. They're going to have at least part of a match, and that part of a match is going to... Unless they're going to bring Ruby Riott into Sanity, which would be awesome. But it's going to rely on the Gruesome Twosome to try to provide their end of a match while there's more stuff going on that's not the match, and it's not going to go well because they cannot wrestle.
I think it can, because if you I don't mind Nikki Cross working with the Gruesome Twosome because she's a crazy lady, and actually their lack of skill in the ring actually even adds to the aesthetic that she's a crazy lady in a weird way.
Yeah.
Because it makes everything look very unclean, and it's like, you know what, this is actually how this character should fight, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting going forward that is like their idea, because it's also dangerous, but it does actually add to the aesthetic. But yeah, I have no patience for the Aussies working with Ruby Riott, because it doesn't add to the aesthetic, because Ruby Riott is not crazy, in a nutshell. Like, her movements should be smooth, and
they are.
They're not.
You can work with somebody.
They're not when working with these two.
Yeah, it's a mess. And then after that, did we have the Roddy Strong promo?
No, we had
I don't make notes on
we
these
had
things.
We had Sanity do an intro promo, basically hyping up Eric Young versus Adam Cole for the main event.
Oh yeah, they all came through the crowd and did their shenanigans.
And then we had Lars Sullivan versus Oni Lorcan.
Holy shit, man! This is the business right here. I kept telling you that Brock Lesnar has said that he's the next Brock Lesnar, and this is the beginning of what that could be. And Oni Lorcan is the best. I always enjoy Oni Lorcan matches. He came down the ring like a house on fire. All kinds of shenanigans. He hit him with some finishers in there. There were a bunch of good moves, a bunch of good quality no selling, and just furious monster action against a guy who will not quit. And that was spectacular.
Yep.
And then at the end of the match, Lars is going to go doing his trademark extra special beatdown, and your boy, the governor, Danny Burch, comes down to make the saves. He's like, "Oh, you! Come on, then!" Fan-fucking-tastic. I loved every single bit of this. And you did as well. You're speechless.
I'm not speechless. Roommate was talking.
Well, he's a dick. You're a dick, roommate.
I'm just hoping that we get Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch as a tag team for a little bit.
Yeah.
Down with that.
Also, next week or the week after or whatever, I want a 2-on-1 match. For fuck's sake, come on.
That would be good as well. I'm down with that.
You wanna put a guy over maybe 2-on-1 match against two complete hard dudes? Awesome.
Then we had a Ruby Riott promo. Short answer is not friends with Nikki Cross. Happy to fight Iconic Duo.
Indeed, very much so. That's pretty much all you need to say.
Then we had Heavy Machinery versus Demetrius Bronson and Patrick Scott. I put this as AKA Jobbers with a little bit of storyline because Patrick Scott is apparently a Steve Corino guy and Bronson is apparently a former NFL player.
I am also a Steve Corino guy.
Well, you didn't train with him.
No, but I should get one of those shirts.
True.
This is Heavy Machinery being awesome. These guys are possibly... Who am I trying to compare them to? Like a Bushwhackers 2.0 that can wrestle? Like, it's not that the Bushwhackers couldn't wrestle. It's that they had a shtick. They stuck to their shtick while they were in the WWE because Vince, this is typical Vince, probably wouldn't let him do anything else. And these guys are great. These guys could be... the perpetual challenger type scenario. You can put the belts on them. People love them. Stakes and weights, baby. And I'm all out of stakes and weights. And now it's time to crush people. And Dozovic always makes me laugh.
Pretty much. I enjoyed his theatrical elbow drop in this match.
And we'll get to the New Japan a little bit later, but we were talking about what if, it started off as what if we could watch Heavy Machinery versus War Machine, and then what if they became a stable as Heavy War Machinery, and then that became the new best thing ever in the history of the planet.
Indeed, the image of Otis and Hanson just locked up in the center of the ring, just going, "Oh yeah!" Has me laughing. And just not moving anywhere, like both of them being confused as to why they can't move the other one.
Exactly. It would be all of the best. You could have one of those the bar type of scenarios where like, well, fuck you, no, we're the best, no, we're the biggest and best, no, we're the biggest and best, and rah, rah, rah. And eventually like, man, why are we fighting? We could just kill everyone else.
Exactly. World domination. Everybody die! Double compactor for the win. My only kind of... The one thing I still need to see from Heavy Machinery is we really haven't seen them in a... feud. Like, they had a one-off match with Authors of Pain. But otherwise, they just do squash matches. And my question is... There's a lot you can tell from that. Interaction with the crowd, ability to get over power moves, etc. But there are still some question marks where it's... I need to see these guys similar to for a while with the Authors of Pain. I need to see them in a proper feud, some longer matches, see how their storytelling is, see how their selling is also. and before I can make final judgment. But I mean, there's a ton of potential in Heavy Machinery.
Oh yeah, I enjoy that quite a bit.
Then Regal made Almost versus Gargano 2, well, telling the reporters is like, the challenge of TakeOver is coming up with new ideas and things to surprise you. And I have an announcement that I think next week will surprise you a lot.
Which I'm looking forward to.
I'm always looking forward to Regal announcements. Then we get to the Roddy Strong promo. So take us away.
Roderick Strong, baby! I can't remember exactly what was going on. I think he was working out, or just got done working out, and he's all sweaty and hype! And he was fired up, and man, motherfucker, basically the upshot of the whole promo was, I'm not always the best man in the match, but I'm the toughest motherfucker on the planet to kill, so you're gonna have to bring a gun, or you're gonna lose. Essentially is what he's saying. And, then we had a little bit of, and I enjoyed that, very passionate, not overly passionate and ridiculous and not overly hype, but like strong promo from Roddy Strong. And did they have the Drew McIntyre promo right after that, or was it a little bit later?
No, we had a match between the two
anyway,
promos.
Like there was a rebuttal from Drew McIntyre, basically. I think he was, if I remember correctly, he was just putting Roddy over. Like, yep, no, he's a tough son of a bitch.
He could be the champion. He could challenge for the title,
just not win it for me.
This is Drew McIntyre's world.
Yeah, so I enjoyed both of those promos. Perfect bookends, and in the middle we had some match or other. You say
we had Liv Morgan versus Vanessa Bourne, which I just got brackets here. This is our green match for the week.
Yeah, and I was just asking the other day, like, what the fuck ever happened to Liv Morgan? I remember she was some tiny blonde chick, and that's all I remember. I think she was injured, possibly?
I believe that was the case. I can't actually find any documentation for the injury, but it's the only thing that would explain, like, her long absence.
The weird thing is that I think... Who was it? Nigel McGuinness, I think, like, revealed the fact that she's an ordained minister?
I thought that was Percy Watson who did that, but it might have been Nigel.
Could be. It doesn't really matter. But,
I just remember it wasn't Morrow.
Morrow's like, oh, really? So there was this, apparently she's an ordained minister, which kind of cools down all the heat that I would have for her. It's a bit weird. I don't know many ordained ministers walking around in crop tops and purple lipstick, but I'm not here to judge. Or maybe she's a minister of Satan. Who knows? They didn't say.
They didn't say the denomination. This is true.
Did not. So it could be Satan. This was acceptable. I mean, it was. I'm not mad at the match. It didn't have anything there's obviously things that could have been better, but I don't remember any botches off the top of my head.
No, not really.
Yeah. At least we didn't have to put up with, what was it, Bianca Blair or whatever the fuck?
Bianca Belair.
Well, everybody kept saying Blair. That was last week's episode, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was like, Bianca Blair! And then, like, finally, right at the end of the match, somebody finally said Bel Air. Like, oh, I thought she just had two first names. Mm-hmm. And a really shitty weave. Anyway,
I think there's potential in her, but she's super green.
This match was way better than last week's women's green match. So, yeah, I wouldn't really recommend tracking it down or anything unless you like tiny little blonde girls with purple lipstick, which, I mean, seems popular on the internet these days. For other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I'm not hating on this one. They're way better than the Gruesome Twosome, way better than all the other green retardo chicks they seem to have. So, yeah.
Liv Morgan got the win, which is expected because she's... I think they're going to put her into the storyline somehow, that she's going to be in the mix for the Fatal 4-Way. I don't think she'll be in it, though.
There's no reason to do that. The only reason they would do that is to kind of fast track her. I mean, how long has she been in NXT for? Like 3 or 4 years now?
She's been there a while. Like, she's of the Green Girls, kind of in that iconic duo spot where, you know, she's had enough time that she should be good, and she is. I don't have a problem with anything she does.
She's acceptable.
But which is probably why this match was, for example, better than the Belair versus Evans match, because that was like Super Green versus Super Green. This is Super Green versus kind of an old hand in the ring at this point by NXT standard.
Yeah. Well, it should seasoned, a trained hand, at least, an apprentice level. So there was nothing wrong with the match. Just wasn't. I honestly can't remember any particular spots. I think there was wasn't there a code breaker or some variation of a code breaker?
Variation of code breaker. Yeah, that's how Morgan got the win.
Like a side saddle code breaker.
Yeah.
Very ladylike.
Mm-hmm.
And then we what
Aleister Black.
That? Oh yeah, Aleister Black, and he is pretty fucking shiny, if I do say so myself. You know what? I figured out. They played a hype package with him doing the thing, and then Paisley Patrick Clark coming down. If they jack the volume on, like, have him speak the way he was speaking, jack the volume on his mic twice as high as everyone else, so that he can sound like a raspy god, he would be over so hardcore. Anything he said in a promo would be over as fuck. It would be fantastic. Give him a little bit of reverb and just jack that volume up. And then they should do the same thing for Jinder Mahal. Honestly, because he's got that voice that he couldn't quite, like, doesn't project well, and then he just dies. So just jack the fucking volume up and make him sound like a god, like an evil god. And I would be in favor of these things. What do you think?
I'm down with that. Anything to give Aleister Black's promos a bit of panache.
Indeed.
Because everything else about him feels so special. The in-ring style, the entrance, the music even, the backstory. But the promos do kind of leave something lacking. So anything that would kind of fix that would be immensely helpful for the character.
Indeed.
Then we had Fabian Eichner versus Cassius Ohno.
Holy shit! I thought the Large Lars match was going to be the match of the night, and then this shit showed up. Whew, doggy. Okay, I didn't know who Herr Eichmann was, other than apparently...
He's an Italian wrestler who he was one of the guys. They had like 3 or 4 guys in the Cruiserweight Classic that they made a big deal about having to cut weight to get to the Cruiserweight Classic. Because dude he's listed at 230. I would say he's bigger than that actually, compared just looking at it compared to Ono. But he cut like something like 25 pounds for the Cruiserweight Classic, and then lost to Jack Gallagher, which is no shame.
Yep.
By the way, if you've not seen that match, track that match down.
I have not seen that match. I've seen none of those matches. I didn't know who he was. And at some point, I believe I think it was Moro. He did a ridiculous springboard frog splash to the outside, which was fantastic.
It was fantastic. A little low. His head almost smashed that ramp a bit hard, but it was fucking spectacular.
I think Ono was a bit further back, and I don't think he put enough oomph on the springboard.
Yeah.
So there was a bit of a drop there, but not a big deal. And after that, I believe it was Morrow said something about Herr Eichner, and I'm like, don't say things like that. It sounds like you're saying Herr Eichmann. And that's not a good way to go.
It's not a good plan.
Yeah, so that was cool. There was just all kinds of good moves. He pulled off some good power moves, which were surprising. And the dude projects through the screen. Like, he just, he did a break the fourth wall look into the camera and went, woohoo, it's about to get crazy. And then went and did something crazy.
His connection with the crowd is great. His athleticism is great. His moonsault, super pretty. It missed, but super pretty.
Look good all the way down.
And Ono gets the win with the Cyclone kick. I hope they have plans for Eichner. I hope this doesn't wind up being like a Cesar Bononi type deal where
no, I don't think
they kind of hype someone and then do nothing with them.
I think if you give him a couple more matches and he does more stuff like this, then word's going to get up to the office at some point very quickly, much like Aleister Black. And they're going to go, that guy, yep, that guy right there.
Big future, I think, for Eichner if handled correctly.
I believe so.
And of course, Chris Hero is just, awesome.
Indeed.
Then we had the hype promo for Drew McIntyre, which we already talked about. So, main event, Adam Cole, baby, versus Eric Young. And the crowd was hot for Mr. Cole when he came out.
Yeah.
Very hot.
They were so hot, they fucked up their own goddamn chant. The ring announcer was like, Adam Cole! Like, baby! And before even Adam Cole did the baby thing. It was fantastic. The match itself was all right.
I've written here that it's not a particularly good match because it's a bit more of a schmoz than a particular match.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was a match involved for a while, and then it became,
But the story told progresses this feud, makes things like I'm very interested in seeing things from these two factions going forward, even if the match itself was like not particularly high on the star rating.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't remember seeing a ton of Adam Cole singles matches before he came to the WWE. There was the one at, was it Honor Rising, when he got the title?
Yes.
Okay, and so we watched that one, and same kind of feeling. I mean, it was an alright match. He seems to be one of those guys who can just kind of have, I want to say, good matches, but nothing that I'd rewatch. So
sometimes he's had a couple that I think would be worth a rewatch, but it's more because of the other guy, in fairness.
Yeah, so he seems to be the guy who can get guys who can, like, if you put him in there with John Cena, you'd probably have an amazing match, but it wouldn't be because he was the one carrying the match. He's just very good at being in the right place at the right time. He sells excellently. He's got the charisma. He's got the moveset. I don't know what it is. There's just something there that I've never really seen. Like, the charisma's taking him a long way, is what I'm basically getting at. And not that there's anything wrong with that. It's worked out for Enzo. But he's obviously infinitely better in the ring than Enzo. It's just something missing there, and I don't know what it is.
I don't really know if anything's really missing. It's just that I think he's just not really a guy who you're going to get like a consistent 4 or 5 star match out of. Like he'll give you that 3.5, no problem. But that's about that's the extent of it, and there's nothing wrong with that. You need guys like that.
Yeah, I mean, he did very well whenever I saw him in a 3-man match with the Bucks. But that was always because he was in there with the Bucks. So I honestly can't remember him being
like
the one that
he's
got
probably this whole undisputed faction. He's probably the worst worker of the three. I think O'Reilly and Fish are better.
Infinitely.
But he's the best on the mic. He's the most charismatic of the three.
Yeah.
And,
so I'm looking forward to where this faction goes, I enjoy him being the leader of it because he's obviously the leader of it. I mean, you can't dispute that. It's undisputed. See what I did there?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't like. I'm not ever looking forward to his matches. It's just I'm looking forward to where the storyline, his matches are going to take us. I think.
Yep. I'm looking forward to his matches, but not in the same way that I'm looking forward to. Just throw some options here. An Okada match or a
Nakamura,
Tanahashi, Aleister Black, even Genius the Kick Nakajima.
Yeah, boy.
Or even like I compare him to a level of I don't know, man. Who's a trying to think of a WWE equivalent that really works.
AJ Styles, Sami Zayn.
No, they're better than him.
Like an equivalent wrestler?
Yeah.
Probably
modern day Jericho to a degree.
No, I always like Jericho matches. He always does something that's weird, wild, or wonderful.
Sure.
I would say Horace. No, I'm just kidding.
Fuck no.
I don't know. I can't think of anybody I would say that about. Maybe your boy from Pittsburgh. The franchise, Shane Douglas.
Shane Douglas. Slightly better than Shane Douglas, but yeah.
Shane Douglas always good in the ring, but I mean, I can't remember any of his matches. I can't remember one of his matches being the thing, oh, you gotta go back and watch the Shane Douglas.
I mean, I can remember some really, really terrible matches towards the end of his career, but that's about it. Jay Lethal actually comes to mind as a somewhat similar case.
I guess so, but I think it's because he's too heavy now. I would recommend going back and watching some Jay Lethal matches before he decided to put on weight.
That's true. Anyways, Cole gets the win, which is fitting for his debut. You kind of got to put him over a little bit hot. Yeah. And
because this is not Lucha Underground.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even Lucha Underground, if you had a star like Adam Cole, you were going to base a lot of main storyline behind, you'd probably have to give him the win. Like, the thing is, when people come into Lucha Underground, they're not featured in the main event scene. And Cole is very much in the main event scene. So we got to make him a big deal right away.
Yeah.
And, there was a promo in there where he tried to get the Undisputed name over, which I'm still not digging the name, but otherwise the promo was very good.
If they just dropped the era part, I'd be fine.
Even the Undisputed, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. Not feeling it.
That's fair enough. I just, if they could just tweak it a little bit, it'd probably be over, but it's not. At least he stated the fact that it's an Undisputed Era. It's not just the name of the faction. I think the name of the faction is supposed to be Undisputed, and it's just that this particular moment in time is the era of Undisputed. But to call the whole thing Undisputed Era is stupid and doesn't make any fucking grammatical sense.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I am a moment. I am a certain section of time. That's what I am. Sorry, what?
Yeah. So that was the action in ring. In terms of news outside of the ring, Caitlyn might be coming back to WWE.
Apparently,
I liked her,
who that is.
So I hope she does come back. She's been.
All I know is, according to Oliver Davidtron, apparently Vince McMahon pretty much wanted to fuck her and she wouldn't fuck him, so that was the end of her career.
Well, the other story is also that he apparently also finds Caitlyn incredibly unattractive. So that's hilarious.
Which is hilarious.
Stories. No, because she's attractive.
I got to see an actual picture of her in shape now, and I'm like, holy fuck, that's unattractive? Are you, I'm sorry, you're how old?
Because they peddled an idea that she was going to have, and they shot some interviews for this back when the Rhodes Scholars were a thing, Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow.
Okay.
In fact, one of the best Cody Rhodes promos in WWE history, in my opinion, that involved him. He's watching a match with Caitlyn, and I can't remember who the opponent was, backstage on the TV, and Damian Sandow comes up to him to talk to him about something. And Cody goes, "What do you think about Caitlyn?" And Sandow, clearly wanting his opinion on the hot chick that he probably wants to bone, and Sandow going, "She's a competent wrestler." And then Rhodes tried to guide him towards what he actually is talking about. It's pretty freaking hilarious. It's a really good promo. But the story, apparently the writers put that together before they had greenlit the idea that they were going to do a romance angle with Cody Rhodes and Caitlyn. So they brought it to Vince McMahon, and his response was, "If the Bella Twins are willing to talk to Cody Rhodes, then why would he have any interest in Caitlyn whatsoever?"
God, what a fucking dillhole.
What an idiot.
Because she's fucking smoking hot.
Honestly, not even really all that big on the Bellas is, for sex appeal even. I've almost every other girl that can't wrestle but got pushed, I've understood super hot, except for kind of Sable, because Sable seems to have this really high place in the hierarchy of women's wrestlers, where it's she's a legend and she's advanced the business. I'm she just had fake tits.
She showed her tits on TV. That's
it.
End of story.
Yeah. But I've never really. I've honestly, every time the Bellas are even feuding with someone, I'm I honestly think the chick you're feuding with is hotter than you. I just don't. I don't get it.
But they married well.
They married well. I understand politically, but they were getting pushed before they actually married. So I don't know. Vince McMahon seems to have a real hard on for them, and I don't. Let's just say mine and Vince McMahon's taste in women, it doesn't appear to be the same. That's just all I can think of.
You bet your JBL finds her attractive.
I think JBL would be more onto Jazzy Gabbert as his attractive idea.
Well, Vince likes big sweaty men, and JBL seems to like big muscly Weemons.
Well, that's why I picked Jazzy Gabbert. She was the big German chick in the Mae Young Classic.
Jawohl.
It goes by the name Alpha Female on the European indie scene. So, yep, that's pretty much it. You heard anything other scuttlebutt that you want to talk about?
Probably. I'll probably remember in like 15 minutes or something.
But that you can think of now.
No, not off the top of my... Oh, yeah, there was one thing. So I've noticed in the last couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, there's been... Let's just say I've used the word exponential a bunch of times already this episode, but I'm going to use it again. There's been an exponential amount of blood in the last 3 weeks on WWE than there has been in the last, 5 years or so. And there's rumors that they're going to be going to TV-14 instead of PG-13. So, also there was that whole shenanigans where they sent out survey emails to network subscribers. Wanting to know if maybe, if we brought back ECW, would it be, we made it, like an NC-17 type show, would that be a thing you want to see? So, I'm hoping that they're actually going to realize that they're losing their audience because their audience is aging out of their censorship range. Mm-hmm. And then we can actually have, good wrestling again. And interesting storylines.
It wouldn't fix everything.
Not for children. No, but I mean, you could at least do, somebody could say, damn.
Yeah.
And we could have, a match with people that could have some violence to it, which isn't the same match every single week.
Yeah. No, I mean, it would help some things, but yeah, there would be other changes for me to get really super excited about WWE is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's all we got for this week in Raw, or WWE, I should say, and we're going to talk about New Japan Destruction in Hiroshima directly after this.
Wool snap.
So get ready for that if you're a New Japan fan.
I'd also like to point out the fact that I've been observing Lana pictures this entire time.
That's good for you.
It helps my blood pressure.
And other than that, and we'll have Lucha Underground maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow.
Possibly, at some point.
And that is about it. So get off Byron's lawn and come back when it's time for another podcast.
Or, at least if you're going to be on the lawn, rake up some leaves, do some stuff. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, earn your keep.
Trim the veg. Polish the driveway.
All right, we'll see you literally in 5 minutes.
Get out.